kick the goal? And I think he has. Yes, he has. That's the second one to the Tigers.
Well, a good crumbing goal by Mansell. He gets into position well. Let's watch it as it comes into the forward line. Up early. Not being able to take it was Buderick. A great crumb, and I guess a little man's job is just to make sure the ball gets through the goals. He decided not to pick it up. He just lined it up Pelé style off the turf. And number one in your screen, he'll rove tonight.
Back centre field, and it's Glenelg 2-3, Port Adelaide 2 points. It's McCulley opposed to Paul, two of the young ruckmen in South Australia at the moment. The ball down to Chigwidden, last year's best and fairest winner for the Tigers. Stewart. Now the ball down towards Abernathy, wearing number 29. Playing in the pivot at the moment is Aber. He puts it up high. The breeze holds that ball up. Big leap from Gibbs. Couldn't take it. The handball goes out to Smith. He's good on the run. He lines them up and it just fades across the goals. And that was a very good handball to set up that opportunity by Paul Williams.
And that was the pick of the play, Kim. That Paul Williams very unselfishly took the right option. And Rowan Smith played well last week against the Crows side, and a good recruit back from St Kilda.
The Tigers 2-3, Port Adelaide only 3 points. The kick-off back towards centre wing grandstand side. A chance now for Hamish Stewart, fine young footballer for the Tigers, goes towards half forward. Bouncing ball goes past Phillips, in goes Thornborough. Working hard there, northeast, taps it out, but it's taken by Kretschmer. The Bays with a chance now, goes the way of Murphy. Murphy up towards full forward. Rosonico should take the mark in front and does so for Port Adelaide. Rosonico now from centre half back, goes to the outer side. Conditions magnificent here at Football Park. Buckley, gee whiz, he started superbly. This youngster had a scintillating year in 1991. He finds Smallridge. 7 kicks already to Buckley. Over to Fiacci, who's also started well. Goes in towards Sheehan. Inside 50, has the bounce. Raises the eyes, kicks towards goal. It won't get the distance. Or Delaney should get a free kick. Strike me pink. That was definitely hanging on. We'll watch Delaney going berserk.
And a couple of kicks combined there. Nathan Buckley having his 7th kick. He got it in high to Damien Sheehan. And it's his first game. He's from Cummins, a Till Cupper last year, only 17 years of age. And the Magpies, they'll have a shot. They won't have a shot to be thrown in the forward pocket.
Well, Roger Delaney learning what it's all about at the other end. He's been involved in those tactics for many years as one of the state's best fullbacks, and copping a bit of his own as Hocking takes the football centre field, hooks around his body, but underneath that is northeast. We talked of best and fairest winners earlier. This man won it for Port Adelaide last year. The ball out wide, Buckley again. This will be kick number 8. He's looking $1 million on that outer wing. The kick is good. Out there searching for Harris. Now it's been picked up by Northeast. He backed up well. It's a wobbly kick forward. Good body work there and a great grab taken by Rouvray. We've had just over 16 minutes. 6th kick for Rouvray. Puts it out wide. Good stretch. Good grab by Wayne Thornborough. And we'll try and get a close-up of Greg Phillips a bit later. He looks a new man. He looks so fit and he looks very enthusiastic. The ball to ground, Danny Hughes. Oh, intercepted by Chigwidden on the right boot. He tries to hook it back and centre it. Not a bad-looking kick. It's gone through for a point.
A good Rovers attempt there, interception. Chiggy's always a busy player, and he's a big-time player as well. Not forgetting these quarters are 21 minutes plus time on, and Ken, they're fighting for $17,500 in prize money.
Yes, not a bad pull there, Rocky, as we see Hughes now brings the ball back into play towards the grandstand side. McKay, a good mark has been taken there by Murphy. Outside the 50, goes with a handball to Hill. Hill will go short, doesn't find McGuinness. Rosonico will mop up for the Magpies. A good handball to Fiacci. He's had a superb first quarter. Goes to Abernathy, back towards centre wing. Ramsmith in front, looking for the free kick. Harris is in there. Visca taps it out cleverly to Hamish Stewart. He goes out wide looking for McCulley. He can't take possession. Setray does. Smallridge stolen by Stewart again. He's playing well in defence with a long kick. Up towards full forward. Off hands a chance now for Butler. It's hit beautifully for him. And Craig Butler votes the Tigers' 3rd goal here at Footy Park.
There he is in your screen. He's a big man. Very athletic though. And he certainly knows where the goals are. He's been dogged with knee injuries over recent years. Ball comes in very high. Hamish Stewart was the boy that delivered it off hands. Almost looked like he got a push in the back, Murphy. Well crumbed by Buderick into the open goal. Let's have a look at it here. No, just a good attack on the ball on that occasion by Danny Hughes. Butterick. Point blank range. He'd be happy with that start to the game, and he's had, as I said, a difficult time with knee injuries.
Glenelg 3-4-22. Port Adelaide 3 points. Yet to kick a big one. But they've looked threatening. Down towards Lyndon Bow. The Tigers go forward once more. The ball bounces high. Underneath it was McGuinness. Showed great commitment, but it was well tackled. The crumbs are picked up by Rosonico. The handball out to Phillips. There's the man we were talking about before. It's a born-again footballer. A lot lighter. And certainly looks more serious about his football at the moment.
And his opponent's flat on his back at centre, right on the square, Kim, and he doesn't look well. That's Wayne Thornborough.
Well, they've been at each other right from the outset, and I didn't see what happened, so I won't comment, but it was always on the cards that something may happen there. Chigwidden getting into the action. Tried to do a little bit too much. They'll lose the football, and the Maggies go forward again.
They've called for a stretcher, and he doesn't look well at all. And I too didn't see the incident, but he'll be stretched off. I think the umpires have held up the game. Indeed, they have. And he's in a lot of trouble.
And just looking at him there, it appears that it may be a leg injury, and let's hope it's not a knee, but it does appear to be that. So I would dare say that injury has occurred by its own accord, and so no malice out there, and that's a shame.
Well, it really is, Kim, because he showed tremendous promise last year, young Thornborough, and I know the Glenelg Football Club had high hopes this young man would hold down centre-half forward for them this year. He started pretty well against Big Greg Phillips, but that's a tragedy. Really is a tragedy. He
was very competitive too, and as we mentioned, there was a bit of a spirit in there. We were looking forward to that contest, and all of us felt, I guess, a little sorry for Kim Hodgman in his first year last year. Kim, he had a lot of injuries, and what an anonymous start for a repeat of 91.
Yes, well, I know Ken spoke to Kim Hodgman, the coach of the Tigers, earlier today, and that was one thing that Hodgie mentioned. You know, they can make their own luck out on the field, but he was just praying for a little bit of good fortune as far as injuries were concerned, and lo and behold, at the 19-minute mark, well, we're now 20 minutes into the first quarter of the opening game of the 1992 season, as far as the Foundation Cup is concerned, and one of their big hopefuls is being stretchered off. Not a pretty sight.
And the score to date, 3-4 the Tigers. They're 22. Port Adelaide just 3 points. Goal scorers for the Tigers. Mantle's belted one through. Wayne Thornborough, player on the stretcher, he's kicked one. And Craig Butterick. He got it right. And that is bad luck for the Tigers.
Murphy has gone to centre-half forward with Pepe Fusco, who played full forward for the Towns last year, and Safa coming onto the ground. The kick by Rowan Smith kicks into the man on the mark. Picked up by Heel, back towards half forward. Phillips is there. Chigwidden gives chase. With him is Mead. Mead does it well for Port Adelaide. Towards the bend line it goes, and the ball will trickle out of play. Just outside the 50-metre line, the Bay's into attack. Beautiful night for footy. The opening of the 1992 Foundation Cup, and there he is. Strike me, Pink. I wouldn't recognise him. Gregory Phillips, new haircut, new body. Looks $1 million. Arnold Schwarzenegger, eat your heart out.
Well, a reconditioned body, put it that way. The ball out of play on the left half-forward flank, grandstand side of Football Park. The breeze favouring the northern end, which is left of screen. And this man looks very focused as the responsibilities of being captain again for the Port Adelaide Football Club. That's a great honour, and I'm sure he'll have a fine season in 1992. Setri has the football, kicks it towards the boundary line. We're into time on in this first term, and it is the Tigers with a 19-point advantage.
As you mentioned, Ken, Michael Murphy's gone to centre-half forward on Wayne Phillips, and on Greg Phillips, should I say. And of course, that's a pretty good option as number 2 for centre-half forward.
Yes, very useful player. The ball out of play once again in front of the grandstand here at Football Park. The Tigers 3-4, Port Adelaide 3 points. Abernethy. There you see young Shane Grimm, only a youngster on the Port Adelaide side. Murphy. Over the top will go Abernethy. Smallridge works hard with Hill, almost a push in the back. In fact, it is. And the Port Adelaide half-forward flanker. Smallridge will take the free kick. Gary Smallridge played mainly in the middle last year. Former Western Australian, that floppy hairstyle, much like Johnny Patton. Back towards centre wing, over the top of the pack. Buckley, a handball over. Goes in the game, Buckley shows plenty of pace. Gets the footy. McKay with a chance. Busted off the ball. Williams taps it back towards Buckley. Did that well, Buckley. Over towards Bond. He's being sat upon by 3 Glenelg players. Kretschmer, Bond in there like a little tiger. Lyndon Bow, McKay, and umpire Kevin Chambers will call for a bounce down. His co-umpire tonight is umpire Mark Westgarth.
Just past the 23-minute mark, Chambers puts ball to ground. Close to the boundary line. Benny Harris a big thump away, but it went straight back to Ross Gibbs. Had support. Chose to go it alone. Puts the ball up high and it goes straight to Smorridge. He plays on, as he usually does. Now he chips out a pass, searching for Delaney, but reading it well was McCulley. Couldn't take it. Delaney tried to get it to Smith. Couldn't do so. Now the ball out towards Setri. Puts it up high. Players set themselves. Oh, well taken by McKay. Great commitment.
And Port Adelaide struggled up forward tonight. They've had their opportunities. Let's have a look at it. Eyes on the ball. Tried to protect himself a little bit, but Gibbs late on the scene, but it was a fair tackle. Difficult angle.
Second kick, and that is a magnificent kick from that pocket when you consider the strength of this breeze.
24 minutes to put their first score, their first goal on the board, and one they really needed. There's not that much of an advantage with breeze here tonight. Tigers got away to a good start. Let's have a look at it in replay. Okay, underneath it, eyes on the ball. And a good contest given from Gibbs in the end. A very difficult angle at Football Park. He had no problems for his first and the Tigers' first.
Back in the centre. It's Grimm versus McCulley. The bounce favours McCulley. It wasn't a fair contest. Stolen by Smallridge. Around his body towards half forward. Rouvray, first part of the ball, does it cleverly. This kid's got some skill. He really is a skillful player. Towards centre wing. Grimm over the top and a fine mark. Goes the long searching handball. Back towards Williams. But there's the siren to end the first quarter here at Football Park. The big clash between Port Adelaide and the Tigers. The Tigers in front by 13 points.
It was a good quarter by Glenelg. Simply they took advantage of their thrust into the forward line. They had people around the ball. They crumbed every goal they got. No set shots. Port Adelaide replied at the 24-minute mark from Mackay. A good straight kick from a deep in the pocket. It'll be a close contest.
So at quarter time, it is Port Adelaide on 1-3, Glenelg 3-4. We'll be back with more Foundation Cup football in a moment.
Welcome back to Football Park. At quarter time, the Tigers 3-4-22 lead the Magpies 1-3-9.
13-point margin. The goal scorers, Port Adelaide, Mackay had one at the 24-minute mark, and for Glenelg, Thornborough, Mansell and Buderick, one apiece. And of course, look at the early game between the Bulldogs and the Eagles. The Bulldogs got home there by 22 points. But looking at this game, Rocky, Glenelg to have more system than Port Adelaide. Yes, well, I guess what I said at the end of the quarter, Ken, they took advantage of every thrust into their forward line. Mansell was at the bottom of the pack, took advantage of it. There's Kim Hodgman in your screen, yelling instructions. He looks like he's had a few holidays. He's got a tan up. He's been away.
Got the beard.
And he's starting to look like a coach. It ages you pretty quick. He's still looking pretty fit, though. But they were penalised with Wayne Thornborough. That was very disappointing. But they've got some big men. Buderick, he took a ball off the pack. Beautiful crumb, and they're looking pretty efficient in their forward line. OK, let's take you back to the start of the second quarter. Here's Kim Dillon.
Thanks very much, Ken and Neville. And, well, the Tigers leading on the scoreboard, but I thought the Maggies looked pretty good in that first term, especially this man, Buckley, as he picks up another kick, puts his side into attack, the ball out wide there. Opportunity for Bond, but he couldn't take it. Still out there working very hard. Now he picks it up. That is good work by the youngster. Gets back onto his right boot, puts it up high. Players set themselves, and Delaney takes the mark. Roger Delaney, a lifetime at fullback, certainly in senior ranks anyway. Now finds himself up forward. This will be his second kick. He has 1 point already. Now he has 2.
So he spent a lifetime at defence, giving forwards a hard time. He's finding out how hard it is, Ken.
Fullback brings the ball back into play, which is Rouvray on that occasion. Back towards the centre-half forward position for Port Adelaide, and a fine mark has been taken there by Harris. Just outside the square, Benny Harris goes short, and Abernethy has found space there. Poor checking on that occasion by the Tigers. So Abernethy with a chance now. Right on the 50-metre line. Breeze behind him. A lovely kick up towards full forward. McCulley goes up. McCulley taps it through. And again, a point to Port Adelaide. They go to 1-5-11. The Tigers 3-4-22.
And Abernethy playing in the centre tonight. the unaccustomed Guernsey number 29. And at his age, not sure what he is, he'll be around 30, I guess, Bruce Abernathy, and I guess his old leg's still carrying him pretty well.
Alan Bartlett off to the grandstand side, and there's another strong mark taken by Buckley once more. Well, this will be his 11th kick. He's taken a number of strong marks, and he really does appear to have a huge future. It's a lovely looking kick, puts it to the head of the square. Players set themselves, the ball hits the ground. No Rovers there to support Delaney. Mansell picks it up, goes towards the boundary line, and not a long kick, but it was certainly effective. And now we'll have a throw in that right forward pocket at the northern end of Football Park. As we mentioned in the first term, the breeze favouring left of screen. You're live on Nine's Wide World of Sports, and that's Williams. Tapped it down to McKay. If he'd held that, it could have been the play of the day. So breeze with about 3 or 4 goals. Just getting back to that first quarter, Neville, Port Adelaide 78 possessions to Glenelg 63, so they did pretty well into that breeze.
Yeah, you picked it pretty well, Kim, when you said that Port Adelaide probably had, they didn't have as much of the ball, but I've just felt in the last 12 months or so that Port have struggled up forward without a, they've had Tyler there from time to time. They really haven't had a focal forward, and they need to develop one.
Well, they haven't got a focal forward, but they've got some desperation up there, and they've been rewarded, and it will be young Damien Sheehan. Let's have a look at this. Now, Visca had the ball. He tried to get the handball out, and the players asked the question, and they put the heat right on the umpire, and I feel a little sorry for Visca, but it will be a goal on the board. Sheehan's first.
Back in the middle. That was like lightning. A poor bounce by umpire Mark Westgarth. It's taken by Abernathy. Back towards centre wing. Working hard out there is Rowan Smith. Gets it out, but it's taken by Chigwid, and the Bays into attack. A little left foot kick in towards centre half forward, and a fine mark has been taken there by McGuinness. McGuinness outside the 50. Well, kicks into the man on the mark. That's terrible football. Fiachi's there. McGuinness goes in again. There's 3 players to beat the handball. Taken by Mead. He goes towards Rowan Smith at half back. Off hands it goes. McGuinness working hard, trying to redeem himself for that poor mistake a moment ago. Chick Whitten now with a chance outside the 50 towards centre half forward. Players contesting there. 2 players mess it up. Working hard, Kretschmer. Scrambly stuff at the moment. Back towards Mead. Setri. McKay. Now the Port Adelaide machine working the ball out of defence towards centre half forward. Over the top, Visca, supported by Thompson. Thompson with a handball. Back towards Hill. Off the side of the boot, the kick goes. Rowan Smith got one high. Picked up by McCulley. Towards centre half forward, but back there is Fiachi, who's playing superbly in defence.
He certainly is, Ken, and the handball goes out to Rezonico. Rizza puts it wide, but there's a big leap there intercepting. Over the top of it was Kretschmer. He gets the handball out towards Chigwidden, the acting captain for the Tigers tonight, and he receives a push in the back and will get a free kick. And well, they better be careful. There may be 50. Visca has a few words to Mead. Everybody happy, though. Kretschmer gets on with the game. Oh, look at that leap there. That was a rather uneducated leap, and Phillips now has the football. He clears with the left leg, chips out a pass there, searching for Harris, who couldn't take it. The crumbs have been picked up by Bowe. He puts it up high. Players set themselves. Underneath it was Barton. He couldn't take it. Rezonico's handball was very good. Mead was caught by Chigwidden. The kick around the body by McGuinness goes straight in the waiting arms there of Shane Grimm. Grimm with a handball to Fiachi, likewise to his old buddy in Rowan Smith. Smith with a wobbly one, and in fact he's put that one out on the full.
There's a lot of pressure out on the ground at the moment. The bodies are coming at each other pretty hard and pretty quick. Not a lot of time, and players, I think, a bit surprised by the tempo in February.
Yeah, we've had a lot of changes in football in recent years, but one thing will never change, and that's the rivalry between Port and the Tigers, and that's very evident tonight. In there, McCulley didn't quite get his body over the top of that one. Williams sweeping handball out towards Smallridge. He's tackled. You're right, Neville. The tempo has lifted. Visca out towards Rouvray. A cool head in a crisis. Now the handball goes out towards Mansell. Over the top to Chigwidden. The ball goes back towards, that could have been Stewart, Hamish Stewart. There's a big leap there. The ball comes to ground. Opportunity for Grimm. He gets the handball out to Phillips, and he'll relieve for his side.
Tigers breaking down up forward at the moment as we see the ball coming away through Bond. In fact, Abernathy was the player. Back towards half forward. Stewart thumps away. Over the top from Gibbs, back towards Thompson, favoured by the bounce. Into the centre of the ground it goes. It's all the Tigers here. Lindenbow takes the mark. has time to steady, goes with a handball. Over the top it comes. Barton. The handball came from Kretschmann, and McGuinness inside the 50. He'll have a shot, kicks towards goal. I think he's drilled it. I think he may have. He has a goal to McGuinness.
The ball's back in the centre. Glenelg 4-4, Port Adelaide 2-5. It's an 11-point advantage to the Tigers. The ball is picked up and put forward by Abernathy. That was kick number 8 for Bruce. And looking at veterans, Ross Gibbs has the football, puts it out towards Hamish Stewart. Playing a pretty useful game at the moment. The handball is wide out to Kretschmann. He's worked his way into the game nicely. He's on the left leg. He kicks it back around his body, searching there for heel. He couldn't take it. It's picked up casually by Murphy. Looks pretty in control out there as he hooks it back around his body. Players set themselves northeast at the back of the pack. Intelligently pushed it out towards Danny Hughes. Hughes with a long clearing kick. This will test Buckley. It was too wide for that player. It's been well taken by Visca. This is a pretty good game of football as the ball goes out towards McGuinness. He couldn't take it. Fiarchi there. Chig Whidden like a little terrier at the bottom of the pack. But we have a dead heat, and that's fair enough. Both sides giving their all.
And George Fiarchi just letting everybody know he's pretty serious about his footy this year. Probably, along with Nathan Buckley, the best man on the ground.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Visca too. He's a good kid. There's Visca from the Bays. The bounce down. Mansell. Hocking was in there. Scramby stuff at the moment. Down they go. Phillips tackled by Mansell. Gets it out towards Abernathy. Into the centre of the ground. Stewart over the top is the spoiler. Kretschmann can't handle the football. Met by Buckley. Gee whiz, this kid's got some talent. Gets it out towards Smallridge. Tackled by Stewart. Players going in hard. It's a good game of football. It's tight and it's hard. Heel. From inside the square. It's a poor kick. Taken by Abernathy again. Towards centre half forward. Over the top of the pack. Chance now for Gibbs. Comes away short towards centre wing and finds Lyndon Bowe. Lyndon Bowe around his body towards half forward. Chig Whidden. Chig Whidden on the attacking side of centre. The lead comes from Pepe Fusco. Good mark. Edwardstown full forward. Kicked 100 goals last year for the Towns in the SAFA. Playing his first senior game for the Tigers. Up towards full forward he goes. Pack forms there, off hands. Taken beautifully on that occasion by a Glenelg player, but his kick is astray. And that player was McGuinness.
So McGuinness pretty busy, getting a lot of possessions at the moment. And Pepe Fusco, a former Sturt player too, Ken. And that was a great, very strong mark overhead. But I argue about where they're delivering the ball, keeping pretty close to this boundary all the way up. Doesn't open the goal face much at all.
Fisted away by Shane Grimm. The crumbs have been taken back there by Lyndon Bowe. He in turn goes out towards McGuinness in a spot of bother there. Keeps the ball in play though, but eventually it's taken over the line. Yes, I can remember, Neville, along with yourself, young Giuseppe Fusco playing for the Sturt Reserves, and he had a few good games from memory, and that was back in 1990, 2 seasons ago. But strangely enough, couldn't make the grade there, but we see him out with the Tigers.
He kicked 97 goals for Edwardstown last year, Kim, so he's pretty competent forward.
The ball's now on the forward lines for Port Adelaide. It goes down towards Smallridge. Couldn't get an effective kick away. Visca having a very good second term. Puts it out wide. Great vision to find Mansell. Let's see if they can use it this time. It's not easy into the breeze. He keeps it low. He picks out a teammate, and he had 2 to choose from. And he has found Hocking. Well, Murphy was there as well. It was a strong mark by this youngster.
And so the Bays now trying to bring the ball in with a little bit of method. And we've seen on 2 occasions. The first one only seconds ago where they came along the boundary line to Pepe Fusco. But on this occasion through centre half forward, and a lot better opportunity with a full goal face.
We've had 11.5 minutes. He's kicking from about 48 metres out. He'll take his best kick. Plenty of distance. Oh, that's a gem. That's his first.
Glenelg 5-4, Port Adelaide 2-5 here at Football Park. This game coming to you on 9's Wide World of Sports. Buckley, Port Adelaide's best player. Kick number 12, do you mind? Towards centre half. Otto, good mark. Has it been paid? No, it hasn't. I thought Harris held that long enough. The handball is out. Visca again will kick off the ground towards the outer side, and the ball will trickle out of play.
And every ball that's coming into the Port Adelaide forward line, or 90% of them, just straight on top of the head. And I guess that's testimony to the pressure that the Tigers are putting on the Port Adelaide players across the centre and across half-back.
Harris and McCulley. McCulley, of course, wearing the famous number 5 Guernsey, and I'm a little surprised that a player is wearing the number 5 Guernsey, worn by Peter Carey, of course, that champion. Johnny Cale, the coach of Port Adelaide there. With all due respects to Stewie McCulley, he's going to be a fine player. But I'm a little surprised that perhaps they haven't put that number 5 Guernsey away. Played over 400 games for the Tigers, Peter Carey. Back towards centre half forward. Rosonico runs past the football. Out wide it goes again. Chigwidden is there. Scrappy stuff at the moment. Finally it comes towards Smallridge from the defensive side of centre. The kicker's pawn has been marked by Visca again. He's having a superb second quarter, Rocky.
He is indeed, and he's tearing apart the Port Adelaide forward line. But on that occasion, Gary Smallridge had plenty of time to deliver the ball, and it was a deliberate kick straight to Visca. Port Adelaide have got to lift themselves a little bit, lift their head, and start picking off a forward or two.
Mansell with the handball back towards McCulley. It goes back to Mansell. He set up the last goal. He drives it in long. Players set themselves. Big fist away by Danny Hughes. Picked up by Fiacci. But G reads the play well. It's a wobbly kick forward, and there's Mansell again. In the last 5 minutes, he has come right into this game. He's looking for 50 metres. This will be kick number 7. He's too far out to score. Oh, loose checking. All by himself out there is Rouvray. He plays on. He's normally a very good kick, and he spears it through the centre, and John Cale will not be happy with that.
Well, that is just too loose, and Rouvray's just far too good a player to let find a 40-metre space. Let's have a look at it. Mansell couldn't believe his eyes. There he sits in space. Has absolutely all the time in the world. Young Sheehan, it's a lesson learned, and the runner will come out and tell him all about it. He is indeed on his way out to him now. And number 21, Damien Sheehan, you've got to pick your man up.
The bounce down, McCulley. Taken by Smallridge towards centre half forward. Visca again, supported by Bowe. Out towards Bromelo. The ball sits beautifully for him. On the defensive side of centre, and Rouvray now playing centre wing on Nathan Buckley. So it was Buckley's error not picking up Rouvray a moment ago. This young man can play in almost any position, Rouvray. Back towards half forward, off hands from Pepe Fusco, and the ball goes out of play. Glenelg 6-4-40, Port Adelaide 2-5-17. Don't forget tonight at 10:30, Nissan's Sevens International Rugby. Follows the footy. Great sporting action on Nine's Wide World of Sport. Down towards Abernethy. Setri busted off the ball on that occasion by Bowe under a stack of players, and umpire Mark Westgarth will have a bounce.
15.5 minutes into this second term. A couple of very good battles out there at the moment on both wings, and even in the middle, Lyndon Bowe opposed to Abernethy, both finding a little bit of the football. The tackle's high, and the free kick go the way of Kretschmer. Loose checking once more. He gets it out towards Murphy. Murphy has a good look. He spears out the pass. Here's an opportunity. Well done, Grimm. Getting back there is Butterick. He couldn't control it, and we'll have a throw in that right forward pocket. So the pendulum has swung a little to the Glenelg's favour in this second term. Port looked quite good in the first term into the breeze, but not making the most of this breeze at the moment. I knew it took the Tigers till about the 15-minute mark to really liven up in the first term, as the Maggies go forward again, but not effectively. McCulley takes the mark to Rouvray, put him under the hammer. He's good enough to get out of it. It goes back to Kretschmer, in turn to Bowe, likewise to Thompson. The left boot goes across the field. Mansell is there underneath it and takes the mark. Plays on quickly, looks at the goals, lines them up, and it's just been touched. Well done, Danny Hughes.
And the Tigers with 1, 2, 3 and 4 options across the middle there. Players prepared to run. They're doing a little bit more work than Port Adelaide at the moment, and they're getting the benefit from it.
Almost 17 minutes gone the second term. This game coming to you on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Kicked off the ground, but the kick is smothered, taken by Chiggy. The lead from Butterick, and he'll mark. I really hope this young man stays sound, Craig Butterick. He's been dogged with injuries over the last couple of years. Didn't play any football at all last year, and he's got some talent. It's a crying shame. A young man has to be kept out of football with injury. The kick coming back, and in fact straight over the goal umpire's head. That's Glenelg's 7th goal.
Sometimes real friends aren't all that obvious. They may have been around for years, helping others. But when you need help, people gladly tell you who helped them. Like in real estate, Weeks and Macklin. Call us when you need a hand to sell your home.
You've got a friend.
We're at Football Park. The action's on Nine's Wide World of Sport. 7-5 the Tigers, 2-5 Port Adelaide. The Magpies need some goals. They need them quickly. This game could get away from them if they're not careful. Now the handball goes back out towards Kretschmer, picking up a number of touches. Out towards Robbie Thompson. He screams through the centre of the ground, spears out the pass, and Budrick nearly took it. Still, though, that was a flick pass if ever I saw one. That was a throw. Hocking grabs the football. Well, Owen Murphy attempts the diving mark, but the ball is out of bounds, and I cannot believe that the umpires did not pick that up.
Well, let's watch it. Let's have a look at it. Open hand, that's a throw. And admittedly, he had his back to the umpires, but it's very hard to hold the ball in one hand and hit it off with the other when you're doing it backwards.
Well, he escaped that one. Greg Phillips looks like a teenager out there. The handball out towards Abernathy. He'll have to tighten up. Lyndon Bowe starting to find a bit of the football in this term. Loose ball. Now the handball goes over the top. Once more it's Rouvray with the football. That was courtesy of Visca. Now it's out to Chigwid, and they're looking pretty good, the Tigers. The ball is put up high. Underneath it, Fiachi couldn't take it, but there's a free kick, and it will go the way of Greg Phillips.
Phillips handballs off to Fiachi. Fiachi back towards centre wing. The Bay's winning right across centre now, and some good moves here by Hodgman. Sheehan takes the mark up towards centre half forward with a wobbly old kick. Hill with an opportunity, takes it cleverly. Comes towards grandstand side, and Rouvray has been moved to centre wing on Buckley and has got on top of that player. Kretschmer's gone on to McCain, also winning kick, so a good move there by Hodgman. And Bowe on top in the middle. Back with Rouvray. Loses the football. Chance for young Sheehan, who shows a great deal of promise. Picks up the footy, gets a good handball. Back towards Harris, back to Smallridge, put him under the hammer. Gets it back towards Sheehan. They're messing about with the ball, the Pies. The knockout comes the way of McKay, goes short, and has found Boyd. No, he hasn't. Too long for Boyd. Bartlett with a chance. Back towards Gibbs. They'll get out of trouble, the Tigers here. Roscoe Gibbs has a bounce. We'll go with the long handball to Bromelo. Bromelo from the half-back flank. Back towards centre wing. Hill's the player out there, and Hill takes the mark on the defensive side of centre.
We've hit the 20-minute mark. The ball transferred back to the centre of the ground. Hamish Stewart with the football. The Tigers go forward again, and there's a good grab taken by Shane Griffin. I tell you what, he's bulked up a bit, this lad, over the summer months. He's looking pretty good. Originally recruited from Wyalla. Up high there, McCulley. He couldn't take it. Picking it up nicely is the youngster there in Bond. He kicks around his body, and that may bounce through. Oh, it's a goal, and a much-needed one.
Well, that's the sort of break that the Tigers needed. Players between the ball and the goals, but just watch the bounce. Beautiful crumb, left foot, a tricky bounce, hard ground, and Bartlett caught underneath it. Delaney very happy to see that goal. That's only their third, and they've been struggling, and they've got to rely on that sort of luck. They're in a bit of strife. The Tigers doing it pretty well, using the ball well, first to it at the moment, and working a lot harder.
Glenelg 7-5, Port Adelaide 3-5. The bounce down, Smallridge. Kick is smothered, back towards Buckley. Buckley towards centre half forward. Getting back there is Heel. With him is Troy Bond. Gibbs goes towards the safety of the line, and the ball goes out of play on the half forward flank for the Magpies, going towards the lake end, which is to the left of your screen. Roscoe Gibbs there, sporting a beard. Nice suntan. Looks very, very fit indeed. They trained extremely hard at their camp at Victor Harbour last weekend for 3 days. Friday, Saturday and Sunday. McCulley. And by Chigwidden. Ball being held to that player. Umpire Kevin Chambers will call for a bounce.
It's been busy tonight, Chigwidden. They follow the ball. Mansell's done a good job. Visca's been good for them. Rouvray's done a good job. Budarick up forward's been fantastic. Budarick up forward's been fantastic. And their defence, first to it, being tough and tenacious. Port Adelaide finding it very difficult at the moment.
Throw in the right forward pocket, northern end of Football Park. The Magpies have had the breeze in their second term, but they've been unable to capitalise. Delaney playing full forward tonight. The ball is tapped down. The Tigers go forward once more. It's Hamish Stewart with the football. He's looked fairly impressive tonight. He puts it up high, just sits up in the breeze, and underneath that is Shane Grimm once more. Boy, gee, he looks a much improved player. It's a long handball. It's an inaccurate one too. It finds northeast. He kicks it in long. It's a wobbly one. Underneath it was the youngster in Sheehan. He couldn't take it. The handball. The teamwork is very good at the moment for the Tigers as they get out of trouble once more through Visca, number 24, and the mark's been taken by Mansell. He's had a good second term. Chips around his body. Just props it underneath. McGuinness takes the mark. Phillips stands the mark. McGuinness is off. And there's the siren, and it sees the Tigers leading by 24 points.
They did it pretty well, the Tigers. As I said earlier, they worked very, very hard. They're small men. Bisker in defence, Chigwidden and Rouvray, Mansell, they're all around the ball. They're using the ball. As they come to their forward line, they lift their eyes. Manning your string, Chigwidden, one of their best. Port Adelaide, by contrast, ball in the air, giving their forwards no chance at all. It's still a contest, though, not much in it.
So at half-time here at Football Park, the Tigers 7-5, lead Port Adelaide 3-5. You're watching this game on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Welcome back to the Football Park, and there is the half-time scoreboard, and it sees Glenelg in a very handy position on 7 goals 5-47, leading Port Adelaide 3 goals 5-23. The goal kickers, Port Adelaide, all singles to Sheehan, Bond and McCabe, and at Glenelg it is Butterick with 2 goals, then singles to Mansell, Thornborough, McGuinness, Hocking and Rouvray. Okay, joining me now is the South Australian National Football League General Manager Lee Wickett. Lee, good to see you.
Thanks, Kim.
February the 7th. It just seems to be getting earlier and earlier.
Well, it is an early start when we think back last week, 1st of February, kicked off the first match of football, I guess, in South Australia. Pre-season footy has become a very important part of the lead into the main season, and from the South Australian National Footy League's point of view, Foundation Cup, of course, gives us the opportunity to take the football into the country centres as well as metropolitan.
And not only that, the big crowd tonight has sort of indicated that people just love their football. They don't seem to be able to get enough of it at the moment.
Well, Kim, we've obviously had to reposition South Australian football as far as our own market is concerned, and we aim to be the best state league in Australia. We've got a few plans afoot for that. We want to put fun back in the footy. It's our local footy. It's something we ought to be proud of. And it certainly is the competition that's going to support the future Crows players.
Well, just extending that, it's been a challenging period to say the least over the last 18 months, but now with all that in the past, it must be an exciting time for you and the people working within the South Australian National Football League. What are the main objectives from here on in?
Well, basically, Kim, the first year was one of putting the whole structure together. That was last year. Now we can settle down and forward plan. Most important facet, I think, for the long-term viability of South Australian football is to broaden our junior support, junior supporters and players at school level from up to 15 years of age. And in that direction this year, we're launching a very ambitious program, a junior supporters club, where we hope to enrol some 20,000 South Australian youngsters. In effect, young people can sign up at their clubs. It's all free. Through the schools, we'll be having kits where juniors will be given free tickets for the whole minor round season, where they can get into the footy for nothing. And there's an enormous amount of giveaways and prizes and competitions throughout the year.
Well, we do have some details on that. Just exactly, perhaps if we go in it a little bit further, what does it involve? How do they join? Is there any cost?
Well, Kim, there's no cost. Basically, we're asking any youngster, boys and girls up to the age of 15, to register with their clubs who have the application forms. Having registered, they get a Butte kit with a waste bag that carries all their goodies in from Coca-Cola, their season ticket, various stickers, including Crow stickers and information pamphlets. But during the year, there'll be a lot of competitions associated with the Junior Supporters Club. And it's one area that we believe that we've got to focus very strongly on now to further develop the base of football in South Australia.
Well, I think something that South Australia's always been recognised for is their junior development, and it's glad to see that that's being extended again. OK, we've got a big year coming up. We've got the State of Origin match and the state game. Lee, I know you're going to be busy. Thank you for your time, and we hope to catch up with you again.
Thanks, Ken. Pleasure.
OK, we'll be back with more football in a moment.
And welcome back to Football Park, and there you see the scoreboard. The result of the game one tonight, the Bulldogs surprisingly 12-12-84, defeated the Eagles 8-14-62, a margin of 22 points.
They did well, the Dogs. Hanley kicked 4 for them, McArdle 2, and for the Eagles, Morford 2, Spear and Zilla. Both 2. That's Stephen Zilla too.
Exactly, and after the game, Neville Roberts spoke with Neil Baum.
Condolences on that game, but coming into the summer, I guess it's pretty hard to prepare when you start this early. What have you actually done over the summer to get ready?
Well, we've worked pretty hard. I reckon we're probably fit for an athletics meeting at the moment. perhaps not fit enough for a game of footy. But it's really quite difficult to get them right now and still be right on October the 3rd. But we do a fair bit of work with the footy, so we should be reasonably ready to go. But a lot of it's been fairly hard work. Even this week on the track was reasonably hard.
From that point of view, what do you do with the Foundation Cup? I mean, is that part of your program to get fit and use the games to actually get prepared for the home and away series?
Oh yeah, I mean, every time you play a game, you're keen to win it, but you can't really just prepare to win the Foundation Cup program. So it's got to be part of you're looking at other players and who's going to be any good and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So you can't be too disappointed about some of the results, I suppose.
And you did try a few new players. Shane Brewer, number 9, he looks like he might be able to do something. You tried Primke in the ruck. Is that a legitimate option for you?
Oh yeah, I think a couple of times he played there last year, he did very well, and I see him probably even better suited to that because he's very mobile around the ground. But as you said, young Shane Brewer, I thought showed a bit. He'd like to probably do a bit more than that, but the little bits he did show, he's very clean and well balanced. And Craig Headland did a little bit there. He probably didn't get a lot of opportunities. And Stephen Ziller, who we have seen a bit in the reserves, was pretty effective. Kicked a couple of goals.
And Scotty Morford, you actually played him on the ball tonight. I mean, he played a lot of his early football there. He went back to the forward pocket, and were you disappointed you didn't leave him there all night?
Well, I guess it's a bit of a result of having goalposts for one training session so far, because when we had a chance, from the point of view of the closest to the game, we had a real chance and kicked 4 or 5 points, and Morph kicked a couple that fell to the wrong side. I don't know, he does give us really something to shoot at up forward, but I don't like just to limit him by just, putting him there, because it's very easy for the other side just to sit on him. Yeah. And I think he's still, whilst he probably needs to improve his ruck roving game a little bit, he has been a very good ruck rover over the years, and he gives us a fair bit of flexibility there.
Well, as you said in the rooms, it's still only February something, and I'm sure you'll get to the progressive improvement you're looking for. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, David.
Eva Roberts there talking to Neil Baum. And Rocky, I just wonder whether the Eagles might struggle in the big man department.
Well, they lost McCarthy only a week ago.
He's unbelievable, that.
Well, it was pretty quick, wasn't it? The Eagles thought they had him tied up, and I think the bank account's looking pretty good. But anyway, good luck to you, Damien.
Now, what about the Bulldogs? From the Bulldogs' point of view, some youngsters I thought tonight played pretty well.
Yeah, young Arnold in the ruck, he did a good job, and of course the Eagles used Primke in the ruck, who's normally a centre half forward, but having lost McCarthy.
And welcome back to Football Park, and there's the prize money for the Foundation Cup. First prize, a lovely gift there of $17,500. Second, $10,000 until it goes down. Fifth and ninth, $5,700. Well, Kim, looking at the game tonight, of course, the Bays took control in that second quarter. Young Darren Mansell had a terrific year last year, but he's one of the few Bay players tonight that really hasn't done much.
Well, actually, I beg to differ then.
I thought you would.
We're off again. Well, there he goes kicking a goal. He's had 9 kicks and 4 handballs, and I thought he was the spark that ignited them in that second term. So we're off to a great start for the season.
I thought the move of Kretschmer and Rouvray across centre was the one that sort of got the Bays back into the game.
Maybe we'll meet each other halfway and we'll say that they all combined very well.
It's good to see young Craig Butterick back into the Glenelg side after having such a terrible trot with injuries.
Yes, it's been well documented about his horrific run with injuries. He's a class player and he has the ability to kick goals and to kick a lot of them. So too, this lad's been very impressive, Hamish Stewart.
Yep.
But the kick came in long. Murphy couldn't take it. It's an easy goal, but he read it well. He's in the right place at the right time. And as we mentioned about the misfortune the Tigers had with injury last year, let's hope that Butterick can stay sound.
Thought Port Adelaide started well in the first quarter across centre. Young McKay got into the game on a number of occasions, and it was well supported by Buckley.
Yes, he hasn't had a lot of the ball, McKay, number 6, but what he has done has been very effective. And we saw Setri put that one up high, and I like the way he positioned his body then. He kept his eyes on the ball, but he also showed some common sense to turn his body around and therefore minimising any risk of injury.
Philip McGuinness, the brother of Tony McGuinness, has had 1 or 2 opportunities in the past. He hasn't done much, but to me he's a very fine player, and the makings of a very good player.
Well, we've seen a lot of him in the reserves competition, and he has had a few chances now, but some players take a little longer to develop than others, and that may be the case with Philip. But in this occasion, he got in the right place. He was on the end of the chain of handballs. He lined up the goals, and into that breeze, that was an educated kick, and that'll certainly lift his confidence.
There's one player that I know the Crows hierarchy have a great deal of time for, and that's young Jared Hocking from the base. Tall boy, take a mark and a good kick.
Yes, he took a very strong mark. He was actually competing with his teammate in Michael Murphy, but he took front position. Mansell was the player that set the goal up. I just thought I'd get that in, Ken, since you thought he was quiet. But have a look at that. He lifted the eyes, he speared it in, and Hocking, he didn't know who was coming. He had to go back into the pack. He stood his ground. And more importantly, from about 48 metres out into the breeze, he launched into that kick and put it through for a 6-pointer.
That was a fantastic kick by young Hocking. Troy Bond, one of the up-and-coming stars of Port Adelaide, has had his moments tonight.
Yes, and the way he moves, I can't help but think of Gavin Wanganeen. He's a
Similar
smooth mover, he's very snaky, and Nigel Smart, who is obviously taller, but he runs in a similar fashion. But here it is, he's working hard, he kicks around his body, assisted by a very fortunate bounce there. Delaney was happy, and rightly so, and so would have the Port Adelaide supporters, who are struggling a little bit at the moment. Well, their side's struggling, so they'd be a bit disappointed.
They'll come back, Kimbo, as all Port Adelaide sides
I
do.
hope so.
They certainly will. Of course, looking at the Foundation Cup, it's completed over the weekend with some interesting games. I think you see Port Adelaide in a huddle, should I say. Norwood play south of Broken Hill. 5 p.m. on Saturday. It should be a good game of football. Then on Sunday at Moora, it'll be pretty warm up there, Kim, I'd imagine. North Adelaide play West Adelaide.
And it may be even warmer on the field, Ken. They met in last year's grand final, and 11 reports came out of that game, and I just wonder whether some of those players will have lingering memories of that match.
Yeah, it wasn't a pleasant sight, that grand final, was it?
It wasn't. I know it upset you, but look, those things are going to happen from time to time. I don't condone it, but it's a grand final, and you know, it's a man's game.
Well, it certainly is a man's game. Well, can Port Adelaide get back in this second half?
Well, I thought they were the better side in the first quarter, even though it didn't reflect on the scoreboard. Tigers look very good. I think they can stitch up the game in this third term. OK, let's take you back to the start of the third quarter. Here's Neville Roberts.
Well, let's see if you're right, Kim. Scores at the moment, Port Adelaide, 3-5, 23. They trail the base, 7-5, 47. And young Nathan Buckley, who was a real star for Port Adelaide in the first term, got a lot of opportunities into the forward line. And Rouvray was moved on to him in that halfway through the second term and really cut him out. Port Adelaide are just finding it hard to get the ball into their forward line with any real method at all. They've got Delaney at full forward. I guess they're trying to work out their options. They've got a top-heavy back line. They've got Harris back there, Delaney if he plays. They've got Phillips at centre-half back. And they've really got it. They really can't go with those three players. And there's Phillips on your screen now. As we said, he's a fitter, better model than he was last year. It'll be interesting to see whether they can make a full forward out of Delaney. They certainly need a forward, Ken.
They certainly do, Rocky, and Greg Phillips there looks terrific. He really does. And obviously he's put a lot of hard work in pre-season to get himself trimmed down. Umpire Kevin Chambers holds the ball aloft for the start of the third quarter of the Foundation Cup game between Port Adelaide and Glenelg. Live on 9's Wide World of Sports. The bounce down, Grimm favours that play, but it's taken by Smallridge. And in fact, the umpire will recall it. And I don't think Gary Smallridge was all that pleased about that decision. The ball came back in quite a hurry.
And the rule is, Ken, it's got to be contested by a player from either side. If it's not, then the ball must be recalled.
Grimm with a tap to Rowan Smith. Got it in towards Smallridge. Takes the body. Flips it out to Rowan Smith. He wobbles the kick, but it'll be marked here by Stewart. Hamish Stewart will go out wide. Taviska had a very good second quarter. The handball was not good. Put him under pressure. Kretschmer to Bow. Bow towards half forward and finds the player there. And that is Rouvray. Rouvray towards the goal. And I think he has kicked it, has he? Gee, what a move of Paul Rouvray. That's his second goal.
Well, the ball came out from Lyndon Bow, and I think he said it at half-time, Ken. He's got on top of Abernathy, and I'll just check that Abernathy's still in the centre. And there he is making chase. Let's watch for Lyndon Bow now. Ball came out. In fact, came out from Kretschmer and Rouvray. We know his class. We know how good he can be. And he's still on the Crows list. Big question mark whether he'll get there or not.
Back centre field, Glenelg 8-5, Port Adelaide 3-5. Not the start the Maggies would have been looking for. Now the ball picked up once more by Visca. It goes back towards Hill. Hill's kick is high. Players set themselves, and there's a strong mark by Greg Phillips. Took front position. Hard man to remove once that happens. Had just over 1 minute of this third term. The handball out towards northeast. Thought about Smith, now decides to kick, puts it up, the drop punt kick, players set themselves, the ball goes to the back of the pack, Delaney couldn't take it, Thompson could, and that's a beautiful kick out wide to find a teammate in Rouvray. He's kicked 2 goals, he's had 11 kicks, he's had a number of handballs, shaping up as a very good player. Now the ball out with Hill. Hill goes for distance. Phillips underneath it. Danny Hughes back there. Who's got the pace? It's Chig Whitten. Hughes did well, though. Setri lends support. The handball goes out to Phillips. Plays tunnel ball with that one. Danny Hughes gets it, but a free kick's been picked out. and it will go the way of the Magpies.
Ultimate in confidence, Kempton. Tunnel the ball right in front of your opposition goal, but very confident the call, I guess. Should say that Abernathy is out of the centre. He's gone to a half-forward flank. Smallridge is in the middle on Bow. I guess Abernathy might even have a run on the ball.
Well, Gary Smallridge had a bit of the football in the first half. He had 10 possessions, but sometimes he does not do a lot with it. Rosonico back towards Hughes. He kicks up towards centre half forward, and setting himself was Thompson. Couldn't complete the mark, though. He's back over the football. He'll have to knock it out. Endeavours to do so. Now in there is Lyndon Bow again. Chips out another pass out wide, and there's Rouvray. Gee, they'll have to tighten up there. Rouvray with kick number 12 spears it out to Heel. Heel goes infield to Mansell. Mansell drives it in long, and the mark's been taken by Giuseppe Fusco.
Well, Pepe is his nickname. As Ken mentioned earlier, there's a big, tall lad for you. Hands up, he's very hard to get over. He booted 97 goals for Edward Town last year, originally from Sturt junior sides.
Fusco for his first goal in league football, and he's converted.
Adelaide, stand by. The dates have been set. The Battleground, Adelaide's brand new Clipsal Powerhouse Stadium. See the best that the NBL has to offer in the Reebok Blacktop 3-on-3. 16 teams will battle out over 2 nights for $50,000 in prize money. 3-on-3 was developed in the streets and alleys of downtown USA. It's fast and aggressive. Northwest Airlines, in association with Ansett, the Ramada Grand, and KAFM, bring you the Reebok Blacktop 3-on-3, February 14th and 15th. Tickets through Oz Tickets. Life is short. Play hard. Reebok.
Glenelg 9-5, Port Adelaide 3-5, and of course former Glenelg Rover Craig Marriott coached Pepe Fusco last year at Edwardstown, so probably the reason he's gone to the Bays, I'd imagine. Tapped out wide, Visca again playing an absolute belt of a game. Kicks out 100 miles up toward full forward, but in defence, good mark has been taken there by Hughes. Goes over to Fiati. The Magpies now running out of defence, northeast. Rosonico, northeast, back to that player, over to Smallridge. That's good movement by the Maggies. Smallridge thought about the handball, but then wobbled a shocker towards half forward. Bartlett being held onto, and he'll in fact get the free kick. It's Jason Bromelo. Julian Burton there, the boy with blonde hair, the offender, only a youngster from the Magpie territory. But Bromelo with the football now. Back towards the half-forward flank it goes. Over the top, Fiarchi. It's a handball, finds northeast. Coming out of defence on that occasion with Grimm. Towards centre wing. Smallridge. Pirouettes out of trouble towards half-forward. Gibbs is there. Very clever, very experienced against the youngster Bond. Centres the football to Mansell, known as Nige to his mates at the Bay. Rouvray. I think he's brought his own football since quarter time. A long kick towards centre half forward. Over the top, Pepe Fusco with a chance again. Went back into Hocking. Oh, the handball from that player's a shocker. Allows her Hughes in, sockets off the ground cleverly and lands 1 metre inside the line and out of play.
Well, Fusco on that opportunity. Nice clean take. He had a look back, saw Hocking free, went backwards, which is takes a bit of thinking. A lot of players only think forwards, but Hocking's hand passes straight. An opportunity for the Tigers goes astray.
Hill puts in a quick kick forward. Butterick couldn't take it. Fusco with another chance. Now the handball searching for Butterick. Well, there's a high tackle. Surely a free kick must be paid. Oh, that's play on. I can't believe it. That was 2 free kicks to Port Adelaide, and well, luckily and thankfully that Phillips has the football. A little unlucky, the Magpies there. Rosonico, the handball over the top to northeast. We'll go back to Rizza once more. Gee, they're struggling, though, to find teammates upfield, and all the Tigers again, but picking up the crumbs there is number 27. Mead may have changed his jumper. I think he was wearing 33. We'll pick that one up, and Delaney has the football. Roger Delaney kicks it a long way. He'll have to. He'll be kicking from just outside 50. Kick number 3. Oh, and he's kicked across his body, and that's through for a point.
Ball being brought back into play. Gibbs with the football. Gibbs looking to go short. The lead comes, and McGuinness takes the mark. Philip McGuinness. The game will go short. Stewie McCulley Gee whiz, poor checking here by Port Adelaide as Mansell runs away with the football towards centre half forward. Good mark by North East over the top. It's outside the 50-metre defensive line. Looking for options. His 8th kick towards centre wing. It's a high ball. McCulley. Mansell off hands. Rouvray. Strike me pick. I'm going to calling his name. Up towards centre half forward. It's his 15th kick. But a good mark has been taken in defence by young Grimm. He shows a lot of promise. Handball's off to Fiacci. Fiacci the runner. Onto the right boots of Shocker. Taken by, on this occasion, Tylor. Over the top back to Phillips. Port Adelaide out of defence now. Short to Smallridge. And he marks on the defensive side of centre.
Let's see what he can do with the football this time. Kicking hasn't been that effective. This time he finds Buckley. Had a blistering first term. A little bit quiet in this third term. It's kick number 15. The ball pushed forward by Bond. In there is Gibbs. Did that well. The handball very good out to Visca. And he goes for the safety of the boundary line. We've had 8 minutes of football in this third term here at Football Park. All the action on Nine's wide world of sport. Thompson gets the kick away. Underneath it is Buckley again. So a few quick possessions for Nathan Buckley. It's a real player of the future. He'll have a big season. Abernathy puts it out wide. Transfer the play. Delaney's kicked 3 points. He couldn't take the mark, but there's a push in the back. And Roger Delaney just finding it hard work at the moment. Mind you, he hasn't had a lot of assistance from his teammates. The ball's been coming in very shabbily. Not sure which way to go. Very congested. Decides to go for distance. McCulley at the back of the pack, and he completes the mark.
McCulley now will come towards the grandstand side. Ross Gibbs, very cool, takes possession. Goes short. Not a good kick. On that occasion to McGuinness, the ball goes out of play. It appears, though, Rocky, that Port Adelaide have swapped wings again.
Yeah, trying to get Nathan Buckley into the game. They know that he gets his hands on the ball. He's such a good user of the ball that he might be able to give their forwards a chance. But they need a Rowan Smith to fire. They need a forward to start doing something.
Hill over the top to McGuinness. Glenelg looking a very good side at the moment. To Chigwidden over that player's head. Through the legs of Jared Hocking. Picked up by Fiacci. Reliable back pocket player. Wobbles a kick to Abernathy. Over the top to McKay's a shocker. Put him under the hammer. They'll get out of it the base. Kretschmann now. Running player is Stewart. Hamish Stewart. Kicks long up towards full forward. 2-on-1 over the top. Taken by Hughes. Back towards centre wing. North East is the player he aims for. On the defensive side of centre. Races away from Murphy. Wobbles a shocker towards the centre of the ground. The disposal was diabolical. Port Adelaide by the foot. The handball back to North East. North East now. A high kick. Get it out of your game. Coming out is Stewart. Thumps the ball away towards McCulley. Looks for options. Goes back towards McGuinness. McGuinness on the left boot. Then the right. He wobbles a kick towards half forward. Phillips takes the ball. Shepherded by Smallridge. The handball back to Buckley. Port Adelaide now into attack towards half forward. Danone on the lead. Can't take the mark. Gibbs has plenty of time. Will go across the face of goal, which is dangerous. Coming in is Rowan Smith. Well, strike me pink. That was dangerous. Has Boyd loose or on this occasion Delaney and finds the player.
Well, really just a super bit of football by Smith to read that play. The Tigers, they've done it all night, switched the play. They're very good at it. They won't stand still in their defence. Good interception by Smith.
Delaney directly in front as he kicked the goal. One on the goal umpire he has. That's Port Adelaide's fault.
The Magpies move along to 4-6. Glenelg 9-5. Chigwidden with the handball out towards Butterick. Straightens the body. Kicks from about 35 metres but puts it out on the full. And Delaney, after kicking 3 points, finally posts his first goal. But, gee, I must admit, Neville, they do it the hard way. Prior to that, the ball was directed to Delaney. He was opposed by 4 Glenelg players.
Yes, and quite a few times the ball's been put at centre half forward, and it's almost brought rain. And that's fine, OK, if you can get players around the bottom of the ball to crumb it. But ideally what you want to do is kick the ball out in front of your half forwards who can run through it and then have other options. But not getting the ball in quick enough at the moment, Port Adelaide.
Let's see if the Maggies can claw their way back into this game. The ball forced over the line. And the Tigers about to make a change.
Is Gibbsy being dragged, Rocky, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't imagine he'd get dragged. Maybe might be for a mistake. They're pretty hard on him. He only has to make one mistake and they'll take him off. Poor old Gibbsy.
I thought he'd been pretty steady tonight. Maybe Kimmy Hodgman just experimenting. Nevertheless, McKay is onto the ground, and that is Andrew McKay. And Gibbsy on the phone.
He's ordering a cab, I think.
Just trying to work out what's actually happened. Well, he looked pretty composed there. I've certainly seen him in a worse frame of mind.
Well, things would have to be better than this time last year for him, Kim.
Oh, it wasn't a pleasant season for him. Amidst much controversy, McGuinness snaps that one. It's through for a point. And at the 13-minute mark, Port Adelaide 4-6, Glenelg 9-5, and the tempo's just dropped a little bit in this third term. It was very quick and sharp in the first half. All players very committed. So Port Adelaide just struggling to find some system. Now the ball out to Fiarchi, and it's not his fault, I can tell you of that, assure you of that, as Rowan Smith now pushes the ball out. This looks better. The mark's been taken by McKay. Now they're starting to run, courtesy of George. George puts the pass out. Underneath it there was Boyd, couldn't take it, but they have numbers there. Mead couldn't take it, tackled, holding the ball.
So even when Port Adelaide get a number or two around the ball, the tackling and the body pressure from the Tigers, right on the spot, right on the money.
And there was a great tackle by Paul Rouvray on the defensive side of centre. He's kicked 2 goals for the Tigers. Beautiful kick, and finds Hamish Stewart. Transfers into the centre of the ground, McGuinness. And in contrast to Port Adelaide, Glenelg's use of the footy is excellent. Towards centre, half forward, off hands it goes. Fusco tried to throw the ball on the boot, couldn't do so. He goes in hard again. Northeast is there, taps it out. Chance now for Tyler to come away with the football over the top to Phillips. Greg Phillips towards half forward. Looking at there for Mead. In front, Rouvray can't take the mark. Mead now has possession around his body. Chance now for Port Adelaide. And Julian Burton in front. Couldn't complete the mark. Tackled by Bromelo. Players trying to work the football out. Scrambly stuff. And finally, umpire Mark Westgarth will call for a bounce down. Umpires tonight, Kevin Chambers, and the man on your screen, umpire Mark Westgarth. Condition of Football Park is magnificent as Mead gets the tap to Boyd outside the 50. In towards full forward. Delaney waits for the bounce. Met on that occasion by Bartlett. Gee whiz. There's a chance now for young Abernethy. Young Abernethy, you'll love me for that. That is goal number 5 for the Maggies.
The world is coming down. The flags are up. Who's gonna be number 1? Who's gonna take out the cup?
The Benson & Hedges World Cup. Sunday, March 15. See India take on South Africa at the Adelaide Oval. Play starts 10 a.m. Tickets at Bass.
Who rule the world? Gotta see who rule the world.
Well, the Pies stay within reach, 5-6, trailing Glenelg 9-6. And we've had just over 15 minutes of this third term. They need a couple of quickies into this breeze, but Lyndon Bowe denies them once more with a long penetrating kick. Underneath it is Fusco, couldn't take it. There's a high tackle, it must be seen. Paul Rosonico, one of the gentlemen of the game. Short pass, 6 kicks and 9 handballs. Rowan Smith starting to come into the game a little bit more. Back towards Rosonico, he puts it out wide. Phillips roaming far and wide to find the football. Paddles it forward, gains his side about 5 metres. And by gee, he does look a different man. At 10:30 tonight, Nissan Sevens of International Rugby, live and exclusive on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Some of the best international rugby you're ever likely to see. It'll be the Magpies once more. Nearly 17 minutes in, 9-6 opposed to 5-6. Russell about to come onto the ground. Mark Russell, in fact, he was their leading goal kicker last year, kicking something like 49 goals. And off the ground is Fusco. So he's had a taste. I'm sure that'll make him all the more hungrier. The ball on the outer side, over the top of it. Perhaps I should say he'll become a little hungrier after getting a taste. Nevertheless, he's had a taste.
He certainly has, Kimbo. He certainly has. We knew what you meant. We knew what you meant. Umpire Kevin Chambers has the football. You're watching this Foundation Cup game live and exclusive on Nine's Wide World of Sports. A magnificent night here at Footy Park. It really is. And these two sides are certainly going to be Very, very competitive in 1992. They'll be there. They weren't last year, or in fact the Tigers weren't. Or pushed in the back on that occasion. Yes, and the umpire has seen it against Fiarchi. George, no point in shaking your head. Watch it in replay, George, tomorrow afternoon, and you'll see it. Chigwidden with the free kick. Up towards full forward it goes. Frontman will take the mark. Bender. Strong man, Danny Hughes. In the back pocket for Port Adelaide.
And Ross Gibbs back on the ground, Ken.
I think he had a talk, quite a little talk to his coach, Kim Hodgman. Comes towards the grandstand side. A good mark there by Phillips. Handballs off to Rowan Smith. Centre wing, Julian Burton in front. Can't complete the mark. Smallridge. Aggressive approach to the football towards half forward. Ball forced out of play. Yes, it has been forced out of play. It was Mead against Hamish Stewart. He's not backward and coming forward, Hamish Stewart. A good youngster, good player.
And Rowan Smith having a run on the ball. Just trying to get a bit of bite and a bit of run around the pack so they can free up a player, Ken, and maybe set someone up loose.
Not a bad move there, Rocky, as Burton gets a handball. Set treat taken to Rowan Smith. Back towards Burton and Smallridge. They fight for possession, which was silly. They messed it up. Back towards Mead. The handball is straight to Hamish Stewart. Has the football, goes past Smallridge, then goes towards Chigwidden, should I say. His 11th kick towards half forward. Oh, good mark in defence has been taken on this occasion by Taylor. Taylor now in the half-back flank.
Puts his hands up to let everyone know that nobody's moving for him. Eventually puts it over towards Shane Grimm. His handball wasn't good. He's made the big fella work. He picks it up and just chips it out nicely to find Troy Bond. Now, we've had 19 and a half minutes of this third term, and the Maggies would dearly love a quick goal or two. In there is Burton again. It's socket off the ground. It goes back out towards Chigwidden. Abernathy shows a good turn of speed. Tapped it straight out to Kretschmer, though, who in turn handballs over towards Heel. He lifts the eye, spears out the pass, looking for Murphy. Couldn't find that player. Hughes went through solidly. Rosonico picks up the crumbs. Does a U-turn, drops it back centre field, and he finds Troy Bond. Well, the last 2 or 3 minutes, the Magpies appear to be approaching their game with a little more zest, but they can't get the goals on the board. Grimm over the top, out towards Abba once more. He puts it up high. Have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 Tiger players there, and Ross Gibbs takes the mark. And, gee, that's where they've been breaking down across forward all night. Mansell puts it up towards centre half forward, and underneath that is Hocking, who takes the mark. And, gee, Neville, the Tigers make it look far easier.
Well, the number of opportunities that are coming into their forward line, they've just got to make something out of them. But Port Adelaide go forward, they just can't get it effectively through half forward.
Rowan Smith now to Abernathy. Here's a chance to get the football past half forward, up towards full forward, coming out in front. Baylor thumps it away, back towards Bowe. He's tackled on that occasion by Buckley. Buckley should have got a free kick, then he was held on to without the football. And in fact, the free kick has been paid to Port Adelaide. By Kevin Chambers coming in late, and the free kick will be taken by Burton.
And Ken, I can sense that Port Adelaide are really going to put in a bit of a fight now. They've got to lift their rating if they've got any chance of pinching this game. I think they're not quite as fit as the Bows, and they're certainly not as quick at the ball as them at the moment.
Burton outside the 50. It will lob it right into the square. Pack goes up, off hands. High tackle on Mead. He'll get a free kick. The tackle was there, but it was far too high. And Mead now will win the free kick.
So Port Adelaide, as they always will when they're in trouble, they'll go in with the body and they'll go in very hard. Risk all. And but still, the Glenelg tackle on that was fantastic. Players right at the body. And they're very sharp, Glenelg. And when Port Adelaide have lifted their rating or have got around the ball, the Tigers have matched them with body pressure. Let's see what Darren Mead can do. Difficult angle.
Very important kick. They trail by 4. They trail by 3. Yes, they do. Great kick.
Glenelg 9-6, Port Adelaide 6-6. Only 3 goals the difference. And what we've come to expect of Port Adelaide is coming to fruition once more. They are fighting back. Glenelg have looked the better side for 2 of the 3 quarters of this game so far. But the Magpies trail by 3 goals and will have the breeze in the final term, so we could be set for a bottler. The ball put out wide, now picked up by Buckley around his body, puts it out wide towards the boundary. We're into time on of this third term. The ball stays in play and then eventually works its way over the line. We've had 23 minutes, 6-6, plays 9-6. Little Nicholas Chigwidden, the acting captain for the Tigers tonight, trying to rev up his charges in the centre square after that last goal. It was kicked by Mead. The ball tapped down. Mansell puts it up. It's a screw punt. Wobbly one. The siren sounds. And there's 20. In fact, there's 18 points the difference.
So Port Adelaide making a little bit of a fight of the game now. Players getting in amongst it, putting a bit more body pressure on the Tigers. It'll be a very tough last quarter, Ken.
Certainly will be, Rocky. So at three-quarter time on Nine's Wide World of Sports in our coverage of the Foundation Cup Round 1. It's the Tigers 9-6-60, leading the Maggies 6-6-42. Back shortly.
And welcome back to Football Park. And there you see the scoreline quarter by quarter. At quarter time, the Tigers 3-4-22 led Port Adelaide 1-3. At half time, it was still the Tigers 7-5-47. The Magpies are 3-5-23. And at three-quarter time, only 18 points of difference. The Tigers 9-6, Port Adelaide 6-6.
Yes, they closed the deficit by 6 points, Port Adelaide. Sheehan's got one, as has Bond, but Mackay, Delaney, Abernathy and Mead. And for the Tigers, Butterick and Rouvray 2, Thornborough, McGuinness, Hocking, Mansell and Fusco 1 each.
And Rocky, just looking at that third quarter, I agree with Kim. The last 10 minutes, Port Adelaide started to show something. They got the breeze in this final term. I think it'll be a rip snorter of a finish.
Well, we come to expect that of Port Adelaide. Yep. They've made a bit more of an effort with their body. They're lacking in finesse at the moment. They're making up for in just straight out body pressure. And the man in your screen, Jack Cale, he would have put it right on those players at halftime and again this quarter. So we can expect, as you say, Ken, a real tough final quarter.
Do you think Glenelg are perhaps a bit more advanced in their preparation, Rocky?
They just appear to be. I think Kim Hodgman in his second year as a coach, they always are when they first start coaching, enthusiastic about getting super fit. But to always beware the young coach. But they look a little bit fitter. I think they've got a bit bigger or better big man strength too, Ken. I mean, they've got McCulley, Rouvray can take a big catch. He's got 1 million kicks that quarter. Bartlett's a big man. They seem to be controlling the ball in the air a bit better, but they seem quicker around the ball as well.
I thought Port Adelaide's defence in that quarter played well. Phillips also back there, Danny Hughes, Northeast. Yep. Toller picked up a couple of kicks as well. I thought they played well.
You've got to hand it to Greg Phillips. The older he gets, the better he gets. He's one of the smartest defenders I've ever seen in football, and he still gets his hand on the ball regularly. OK, so we're set now for what will be a thrilling last quarter in the game between Port Adelaide and Glenelg. Let's take you back to our caller, Kim Dillon.
First Foundation Cup game for 1992, and the Tigers led by 13 points at quarter time. They extended that to 24 points at half time, and it is now three-quarter time. You are live on Nine's Wide World of Sports, and it's the Tigers by 18 points, but they are kicking into the breeze, and the Magpies just starting to look a little bit hungry. Should be a great final quarter. South Australian football on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Umpires officiating, Kevin Chambers and Mark Westgarth. The ball comes to ground. Over the top of it is Hill, trying to paddle it out between his legs. Can't do so. And it's Julian Burton then, just letting a short one fly, I think. Just a quick jab, just to let Hill know he's there. Not really warranted. But those things happen in football. Not a friendly game out on the field. But normally a great deal of respect and camaraderie by the players once they leave the ground. The ball out to Rouvray, perhaps the best man on the ground, but he's dispossessed. And Port Adelaide mean business. This lad is good, Buckley. Gets on the right boot, launches from about 55 metres. Underneath it is Delaney. Had the fist away. That's a point, and there's 17 points the difference.
And watching Delaney just slide through half forward there, he moves just beautifully. He's a real athlete. In your screen, Delaney, it was Nathan Buckley I was talking about, but Delaney has tried to body Bartlett a bit tonight, and man for man, that's Nathan Buckley there. Man for man, I wouldn't like to try and outmuscle Bartlett.
Gibbs goes to the outer side for the Tigers. Well, good mark has been taken back there. Hasn't been paid. Yes, it has to Stewart. Played pretty well tonight, the youngster. In defence, back towards centre wing. Russell. Mark Russell. Come onto the ground in that third quarter. Plays on quickly. Wobbles a kick towards half forward. Oh, good mark in defence by Northeast. Plays on quickly. A shocking kick. Straight to Nigel Mansell. Bounds away through centre. Goes short. And in fact has found Murphy. A poor kick on that occasion. Up towards full. That's a terrible kick by Murphy. Straight to Hughes. He saw Butterick coming out, but kicked it to his opponent in Hughes. He in turn goes over the top to Rosonico. Oh, strike me pink. This is well he missed him, I can tell you. He'd be sitting alongside me in the commentary box. Rosonico. Abernethy. To Rowan Smith. Back to Rosonico. Threw it away to Buckley. Buckley at centre wing now. Short. Has he found Mead? Will he umpire Park? Yes, he will. Oh, and do you mind? A couple thrown there at close quarters, Rocky. Strike me, pink.
Yes, it's pretty aggressive to get to his feet. He was tackled. He wanted to get up, so said, well, look, excuse me.
Well, they put you that, just stopping in a very opportune time for all concerned. The ball out of play. At 2.5 minutes of the final term, 60 points the Tigers, Port Adelaide on 43, 17 points the difference. And what a way to start the 92 season. Ball to ground, Abernethy did well. It's ball to boot, puts it up very high. Standing his ground there and taking a very good mark is Visca, in fact being awarded the free kick.
So Port Adelaide, Kim, making their presence felt literally, body against body.
They need a few early goals. Glenelg did it in the third term. They opened up with a quick one, but they couldn't go on with it. They sat back. They may pay the penalty as Kretschmer shows great pace to kick around his body, puts the ball up around the 50-metre line, but it's out of play. We'll have a throw in that left forward pocket at the southern end of Football Park. You're live on Nine's Wide World of Sports. We will be bringing you all the action from the South Australian National Football League. We'll be live, and it will be exclusive to Nine. We're up 92. The ball handled from Budrick out to Chig Whitten, lines up the goals. They need one, and the acting captain split the centre.
Glenelg 10-6, Port Adelaide 6-7. Watching this game on Nine's Wide World of Sports, picked up by Rouvray. Weaves his way through the pack towards centre half forward. Body contact, Rosonico down to McGuinness. A beautiful handball at Chig Whitten. Can he kick his second goal in about the last 2 minutes? I think he has, and that might be the sealer. That's Glenelg's 11th goal, and Chig Whitten did it beautifully. The handball came from McGuinness.
Well, he doesn't mind pressure, Chig Whitten. There he is at the left of your screen, out of screen now, but runs through for the crumb, misses it, and keeps going to provide a running option. He'd sell McGuinness with the ball. Took his chance and thought if he can get it over the top, I'm a chance here. 2 goals, 2 minutes. And that is going to make Port Adelaide's opportunity here very difficult indeed. They're only 21-minute quarters with time on.
Yes, the Maggies may have blown it. They still have plenty of time. We've just had 5 minutes, approaching the 5-minute mark, but they must kick 5 goals to hit the front. And they've only managed 6 for the game so far. So Rouvray has the football. The task, not an easy one for the Magpies. The ball is put up high. Underneath it is Kretschmer. Played a very good game, this young man. Plays on quickly, out onto the left boot. Kicks it out wide. Out there is Budrick. 2 against 1. Picks it up cleanly. Has support, though. It's Kretschmer once more. His handball went astray. Fiachi is there. He's been very good for Port Adelaide tonight, Fiachi. The ball will be thrown in. Guinness and Fiachi just exchange glares. And the ball will be thrown in. Out in front of the scoreboard, which reads 6-7 Port Adelaide, Glenelg 11-6. Rowan Smith looked the better player since going onto the ball in this second half. Moore will have a bounce. This time will be by Mark Westgarth, who's officiating with Kevin Chambers this evening.
What a game it's been by Paul Rouvray. The Crow selectors will be delighted with his performance tonight. The ball back towards centre wing. Stewart there, can't take the mark. Coming out is Visca. Back to Gibbs. Been a good player tonight, Visca. Towards the centre of the ground. Off hands that man again. Rouvray's got the footy. Goes into the pocket. Towards Chig Whitten. Chig Whitten. Back to Barton. Over the top to Lyndon Bowe. Gets the kick away. Kicks towards goal. But it won't quite carry, and Hughes takes the mark. Goes with a long handball. Over towards north-east. Now can the Magpies work this ball out of defence? Back to Abernethy. Or over to Abernethy from the half-back flank. A long kick towards half-forward to Shock. Straight to McCulley, hits him on the chest, lace out.
That's been the story of the Magpies tonight. Their delivery into their forward line has been pretty erratic. And that man in your screen, I don't think anyone wants to pick him up. He's always by himself, Rouvray. Umpires called the ball back.
I don't know why, because McCulley took the mark. He can play on from anywhere, for goodness sake.
He didn't kick over his mark, Ken, and he'd blown time on, so he had to kick back over his mark. He went across it.
The handball away, but he can play on from mark anywhere. Back towards McKay. McKay over to Rowan Smith. To Setri. Smallridge now in the centre. Port Adelaide building up the charge now. Up towards centre half forward it goes. Delaney. Bartlett. Delaney with possession. Can't quite pick it up. And the ball is forced out of play in the full forward pocket for the Magpies.
Some confusion here, Ken, as the umpiring supremo or foreman. Now, when it's a mark, you can play on whenever you want. Is that correct?
Of course you can. The umpire just says play on, then the timekeeper adjusts the time. Play on from mark from anywhere. Free kick you can't. Mark you can. Throw in. Sorry, Rob. Throw in. Thumped away. Out of play. Over to you, Rob.
I have nothing to say about that, Matt. You are the supremo.
No, I'm not.
But maybe the umpire getting a little confused early in the season. Certainly some of the players have made mistakes. And we've got to take into account that this is their first game as well.
Exactly right, Neville. And the umpires make far less mistakes than what the players do. But unfortunately, the supporters from both sides are a little less forgiving on umpires than what they are on players. And I don't think that'll ever change.
Tell me, Ken, when you're actually umpiring, did you notice the abuse you used to get from the crowd? Did it affect you?
I noticed it, and it affected me. I can tell you, no one likes to be abused or criticised, Rocky. I can tell you, right here and now.
Yeah, but Ken, you would have had so much. Surely you became oblivious to it.
Well, I always had the last say. That was the thing. I had the whistle in my hand.
I don't know if Neil Curley agreed with that, but nevertheless, I thought he finished on top.
He did knock me out. Back towards centre wing. Off hands it goes. Taken by McGuinness. Through centre wing. Has the bounce. Philip McGuinness, his third bounce. Way he goes. Up towards half forward. You can see Bartlett making ground there. Coming out as used. They'll collide. Loose football. Phillips now with the Bays with possession. The handball doesn't find McGuinness. This allows now Rosonico with a footy. He'll go short to Smallridge. Now a chance for the Maggies. Over to Abernathy. Through centre. He has a bounce. He'll draw the player to Rowan Smith. Back towards Abernathy. Good handball. Finds the player. Puts him under the hammer. Around his body. And the kick is astray. 1 point.
Well, that's the first running play that, well, not the first one, but one of the few running plays that Port Adelaide have put together tonight, courtesy of the man on your screen, number 29. He normally wears 5, Bruce Abernathy, and that was a good run. Drew the ball back and unlucky not to score a goal.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier in the game, Neville, that the Tigers have the advantage in leg speed, and I think that's been pretty obvious. Apart from Buckley, Port Adelaide just don't seem to move the ball as quickly and as fluently. I'm sure they have David Hutton to come back into the side, and he certainly doesn't lack tope. There'll be a lot of improvement both these sides as the ball's put to the outer side, and Russell takes the mark. Started on the interchange bench. Puts it up towards half forward. Archie at the back of the pack. Nearly took the mark. He's quick to recover, though. Unfavourable bounce. Chigwidden in there working hard. Ansell got it out. Now the handball goes out towards heel. Ran into trouble. That's holding the ball. And it's a good tackle by Smallridge. That's one man you wouldn't try to get past. Swings around onto the left boot. Looking for Boyd. Boyd underneath it. He was held. Play on the cool. Rowan Smith's been a very good player in this second half. Ball is a cucumber, and that's a beautiful pass to find Delaney.
Yeah, good use of the ball, and we haven't seen that much of it from Port Adelaide tonight. But as you said, Kim, Port not moving the ball on as quickly as they do. Normally a feature of Port Adelaide's game is to move the ball very quickly.
Roger Delaney has kicked 1-3, make that 2 goals 3.
Glenelg 11-6-72, Port Adelaide 7-8-50. Foundation Cup coming to your Nines Wide World of Sports. As we see now, McCulley and Harris. McCulley got up high, beautiful tap to McGuinness. Goes in, it's tackled, loses the football, kicked off the ground, comes the way of Rouvray, who's played an absolute belter tonight. Up towards full forward, the mark is dropped by Rosonico. Coming out is Butterick, around his body towards full forward. Back towards Chigwidden. Chigwidden with a handball. Finds a Mansell, kicks towards goal. But the kick is astray and only a minor score. Umpire Don Bills. That's been their territory and says only a minor score.
The ball, it spent a good 60%, 65-70% of the time in the Port Adelaide defensive area or the Tigers forward area. Plenty of opportunities up there tonight.
Hughes kicks off towards McCulley. Taken by Troy Bond. Works hard, extremely hard, Bond. Kicks back towards centre wing. Off hands. Back towards Smallridge, who spent some time in France this summer playing rugby. Just returned home about 7 weeks ago. Loves his rugby. Bow towards Russell. Mark Russell runs past on that occasion. Taylor still outside the 50. Up towards full forward it goes. Butterick in the middle. The meat on the sandwich. Can't take the mark. Biaggi to northeast, goes short to Tylor. Tylor from the half-back flank towards the centre of the ground. Over the top. Gibbsy with a chance now. Sockers off the ground. Thompson, been a quiet player. Rouvray. The handball back towards Thompson and turn to Gibbs. Gibbs towards centre wing. Lyndon Bowe. Stewart towards McGuinness. They're messing about the bays towards Russell's a poor kick. Bozonico comes in and forces the ball out of play.
Yeah, well, the Tigers can't be too critical. Harris coming off the ground, but the Tigers trying to overuse the ball. It's only February, and instructions are to give it to advantage and give it quickly. Would be the instructions from Hodgman, and players, as I said, just overusing it a bit on that occasion.
Ball pushed out towards Burton. He couldn't take it. Beautiful pick up by Buckley. It goes back towards Troy Bond. I mentioned before, he's not unlike Gavin Wanganeen in his movements. The ball up high, and it's a good mark taken by Mead. Plays on quickly. The handball out towards Paul, who's just come back onto the ground. The kick is a nice one. Delaney trying to push and shove. Couldn't take the mark. Setri picks up the crumbs. The handball goes out towards Visca. He's had a great game. Back to that play. Oh, he was nearly taken out of it. The ball close to the boundary line. Another change being made. Onto the ground is Williams at the expense of Burton. Held his ground. Play on the cool. Smallridge says, OK, I'll have a kick. Puts it up to Delaney. 2 against 1. And Roger takes the mark.
Well, Kim, it's going to be the unusual feature of being able to take a mark like that against Bartlett. The previous ball in, good take, got the edge, and that's the first mark he's taken against him. So we'll have a bit of a chat about that in a minute.
He lines them up, and now he has 3 goals on the board.
Glenelg 11-7, Port Adelaide 8-8. The Magpies coming back in typical fashion. We've only played 15 minutes into this final term. The bounce. Oh, McCulley got up a million miles. Taps it towards centre wing. Bond. Been a live wire in the last 10 minutes, Bond. And there's James Bond towards half forward. Chance now for Mead. With him is Gibbs. Inside Port Adelaide's 50. Williams taps it out to Rowan Smith. The Magpies can sniff themselves getting back into this game. Up towards full forward. Bartlett's there. Dropped a mark he should have taken. And it's forced through for a minor score. Port Adelaide 8-9, 57. Trail the Tigers 11-7, 73.
As you can imagine, Roger Delaney being a good forward. I mean, really all he has to do is to think about all the things he didn't like about playing on full forwards. They sneak away from him, and how they get on a hard, strong lead and just keep running. A few times he's been on a lead. He's actually stopped and let Bartlett catch him and contested in the air. So I think it's a bit like what he used to hate. Maybe that'll help him.
Port Adelaide getting back into this game. We've had just over 16 minutes, and they only trailed by 3 goals. And what a marvellous crowd tonight. 17,572 people come here to witness the 2 games, and I'm sure the league would be very pleased with that. Fantastic effort of the South Australian football supporters as the ball is put out towards Fiachi. Now back to the action at the 16.5-minute mark. Port are right in this up to their ears as Fiachi keeps the ball in play. They need another grab and a goal, and they're denied by Robbie Thompson. Been a little bit quiet tonight. Show his experience. Kick number 11. Just steadies play down a little. They've got to keep possession, and they haven't done it this time. Good mark by Mark Tyler. All by himself is Abernethy. The ball goes that way. Coming in is Mansell. Abba stands his ground and he's off. He could nearly kick this. It's an unprotected goal, but it's a wobbly kick. And he found Delaney. Whoa, this game has turned around.
I'd like to see the kick in replay. I think Abba went for a talk and end over end it found Delaney. Luck's a fortune, but he certainly made some pace, and Delaney a chance.
He's kicked 3 goals, 3. And that's his 4th goal. The Pies are back in business.
What a game of football. 10 points of difference. Tigers in front. Live on 9's Wide World of Sports. Towards half forward. Bond. Picked up by McKay. Breaks the tackle. The Magpies into attack towards full forward. Delaney, Bartlett. Delaney almost a mark. Taken by Bartlett. A long handball. Out wide. The Bay's coming out of defence. A chance now for Chigwitten. Thumps it away, but straight to Port Adelaide. Oh, they mess it up. 2 players there. Northeast and Tylor. They appeal for holding the ball, but the umpire will call for a bounce.
Well, Neville, I think Roger Delaney's had a sniff of the success a full forward can have, and he likes the taste.
Oh,
he likes the smell.
He's already jumping from behind. It's a dangerous sign, Kim.
This player's been a live wire in this last quarter. Troy Bond up towards full forward. Thumped away. Bisco with a handball. to Stewart over the top. Now a chance for Bow. Bow has a bounce. Into the square he goes. He'll put the Tigers into attack. Well shepherded by McGuinness towards half-forward support. Paul Phillips has got to get a free kick. Paid to advantage. Taken by North East. On the defensive side of centre, what a game of football towards Thompson. He thumps it away. Chance for Rowan Smith. Tapped it out cleverly. A chance for this occasion Abernethy. A high kick. Get under that if you game. Bartlett, Delaney, thumped away. Chance for Bond. Into an open goal. Can he kick it? I think he has. 4 points in Edmonds here at Footy Park. What a game.
It's too early in the season for these tight games, Ken. It was a beautiful crumb by Bond. He is a busy player. He's got some lightning speed. Let's have a look at it. The Bays actually sport each other. Bond read the crumb beautifully. He was in the right spot. He made a lot of ground to get there. His 10th kick, and he bobs through his second goal. Have a look at him. He's excited, and so he should be. So the gap closes. Nothing in this game, and the Port Adelaide crowd have gone berserk.
Well, we're approaching the 20-minute mark. There's only 4 points in it, and gee, this game is up for grabs. What a way to start the season. Look at the tempo. It's certainly lifted. Setri at the bottom of the pack. Smallridge dives in there, showing no regard for his health. But we'll have a bounce, and it will be Mark Westgarth. Now, we only have 21-minute quarters plus time on, so we have perhaps about 4 minutes remaining in this game as Murphy applies the tackle, and once more, Mark Westgarth will earn his pay, which is a little bit more than it was perhaps 2 months ago.
Well, indeed, and about 11% and benefits and a bit of insurance. But the Magpies will be absolute burglars tonight, Kim, if they get out of this.
Well, there's a lesson in it. You've just got to stick to the game plan and work your butt off, and that's what they're doing. Chigwidden, the acting captain, puts his side forward. Danny Hughes over the top, plays percentage football, but it didn't pay off. Chiggy has the mark.
Yeah, it was a wild thing to do, Danny Hughes, and with his experience, he knows a little bit better. And it didn't pay off. Loose ball went straight to Chigwidden.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things, Rock. He's not the most mobile player now, Danny. The ball was there. He didn't have a lot of time. He took a punt and perhaps a little bit stiff, but they've got out of trouble. But have a look at this. Experience, Abernethy. Oh, he launches into that kick. That's the screw punt he wanted before when he saw the goals. No mark paid to Boyd. He struggled to get into the game. Dead heat situation, a bounce across half forward.
And Smallridge and Abernethy come right back into this game, Ken. Bond, and of course Delaney with his 3 goals.
The Tigers by 4 points. McCulley with the tap into the pack of players. What a belt of a game it's been here tonight at Footy Park. Umpire Kevin Chambers, he said it's my football. Players one holding the ball. Gary Smallridge is there. Bromelo. His tempo is picked up. We're into time on by 44 seconds. A bounce down. Magpies into attack towards half forward. A chance for Stewart. Goes out the way of Chigwidden. Back to Hill. Hill's been a quiet part tonight for the Tigers. Has a bounce. Onto the left boot towards half forward. It's all Port Adelaide there. Phillips. Ball to Phillips to Taylor. The Magpies into attack again. Towards half forward. McCulley is there. Oh! A rip snorter of a man. One-handed.
Kim Hodgman's just reached for the oxygen, I think. His heart would be pounding. Great take by McCulley. One hand out. And that's the value of a big man getting back in defence to help out.
Kicks back towards centre wing. From behind was Hamish Stewart, and he thumps the ball away.
And just further on McCulley, that was a good effort to get back and help his defence out. It's exactly what his namesake Peter Carey did so well as a ruckman during his career.
His namesake. The ball down the ground, there's only 4 points in it. Have a look at the desperation on the faces of some of these players as Mansell gets it out towards Rouvray. He should steady. Could only be seconds remaining. The Pies need a goal. I tell you what, if they get one, we'll have a fair roar here at Football Park. As Barton takes a mark, that could be 50. Umpire Kevin Chambers very lenient there. We're yet to have a 50-metre. We had an FAD in the first quarter, but the ball is punched out. And we've had just over 23 minutes, so we've had 2 minutes of time on. It's Andrew Mackay, 23.5 minutes in. Ball pushed down. Setri punches it forward. Now out towards Thompson. The handball from Bow out towards Mansell. The kick around his body. There's the siren. The game's over. And the Tigers have won by 4 points.
Well, the Tigers deserved their victory. They really played more than 20 or 30 minutes of football, which I guess sums up Port Adelaide tonight. They really in and out of the game all night. Chigwitten, he played a good game. And I think Delaney revived them, Bond and Abernathy revived the Magpies in this last quarter. It was a great effort. It was fantastic for the 17,000 people here and the SANFL to kick off the season with such an exciting game. But the Tigers a little bit fitter, obviously had a hard summer, and Kim Hodgman looking forward to this being the first of many wins this season.
What a super game it's been between the arch rivals, Port Adelaide and the Tigers, with the Tigers getting home. And the end result by just 4 points, Glenelg 11-7-73, defeated Port Adelaide 10-9-69. We'll come back with more action live here at Footy Park very shortly.
Welcome back to Football Park, and there you see the final scoreline. A great game of football, with the Tigers getting home by 4 points in the end, 11-7-73, defeating Port Adelaide 10-9-69.
Looking at the goal kickers for the Magpies, Delaney kicked 4-3 in the last term, Bond kicked 2, and for the Tigers, Butterick, Rouvray and Chigwitten all kicked 2 apiece.
Kimbo, had to see the best players for each side.
Well, it was an entertaining game. There were a number of players that flitted in and out of the game, but ultimately I went for Port Adelaide. Fiarchi, Abernathy, North East and Buckley had a sensational first half. Yeah. And for the Tigers, I liked Rouvray, Visca, Kretschmer played very well for a young player, and Hamish Stewart was very effective in defence.
Some good kids on both sides, isn't there? It's going to be an exciting year, Kim. It really is.
It is. It was an enjoyable game, and it was a great way to start the season.
OK, let's look at the result of game one earlier this evening, of course, between the Bulldogs and the Eagles, with the Bulldogs getting home in the end result there, 12-12-84, by a margin of 22 points over the Eagles, 8 goals, 14-62.
Goal kickers once more for Central. Chopper Handley kicked 4, McArdle kicked 2, and for the Eagles, Morford, Spear and Zilla kicked 2 apiece.
And no doubt Alan Stewart, the coach of the Dogs, will be pretty happy with his changes tonight.
Not only that, their jumper looked quite nice.
I did too. OK, just a reminder, of course, for more sporting action, join us tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the Sheffield Shield game between South Australia and Queensland. That'll be absolutely a sensational last 3 days, Kim.
Looking forward to that. Pretty good performance by our boys today.
Oh, great performance to have them 9 for 300 at stumps, and also coming up after our football, Nissan's Sevens International Rugby, and that certainly is going ahead in leaps and bounds of rugby, Kim.
It is. It's unbelievable just how popular it has become.
OK, thanks for your company. We certainly hope you've enjoyed the coverage of our big game tonight between Port Adelaide and the Tigers, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.